July 31st, Nashville, Tennessee, as promised. Ric Flair will walk that aisle one more time.
That you were the SmackDown lead writer for quite a while, and I've heard you said, man, stressful, too much pressure.
Yeah.
Could you take me through, maybe not a day, but like a week of what it is like to be in that position, and just maybe how much of a pressure cooker you're in to produce every week?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you can't fathom it because you haven't experienced it. And look, the fans on Twitter can't either. And they sure act like they can, though, bless their hearts. But it's 24/7 you're on call. Like I would leave on Sunday afternoon from my home and fly to wherever Raw was Monday night. We would do Raw on Monday, which is, if you're going to have any time to yourself, it's early morning, because at noon to 11 or midnight, you're in that building. That night, you'd get on. I was blessed to be able to get on the jet, fly to the next town, do the exact same thing all over again. Only that evening, you fly to Stamford. Wednesday, you're in the office and you're writing, hopefully coming up with a lot of segments. You have 11 segments in the show, coming up with some of the segments on Wednesday for the next Tuesday show they were at the time. So then Thursday, you would have meetings again to come up with the show, and Thursday night, we would pitch to Vince. Sometimes you would get your show and he would go, great. And that was the kiss of death, because, he really didn't look at it. He's just saying great. And when we get there on Monday, he's going to focus on it and we're going to make some changes. But that he's the king, and it's good to be the king. So then I would fly home Friday from Stamford, Connecticut. So I get home Friday late afternoon. I would sleep in my bed Friday. Saturday, probably on phone calls, talking about, Vince may call and go, hey, I remember you said this about such and such. I don't want to do that. I want to do that. And you go, okay. And you have to stop everything. And right. So you're literally on call 24/7. And I understood the gig when I took it. He just outworked me. He can outwork me. He's a workhorse. He's a workaholic. And that schedule I just read you, I did for 7 years. You know what I mean? And it wasn't easy. I was newly sober. I was a year and a half sober when I started. So I white knuckled it. For anybody who's in recovery, I white knuckled it a great deal during those 7 years. And finally I just said, I can't do it no more. I'm not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. I'm done doing this. And so the NXT gig became available, and I took that, of course.
Yeah, man, I don't blame you. 200 hours a week, it sounds like. Can you give me an example? I don't know if you did this, but I can't imagine you didn't. Rewrite a show while the show is on air.
Yes. 1,000 times.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh yes, oh yes. Because we would write and send out, like rewrite and send out the first 6 segments or something like that. So you got the first hour. So take this and go. We're going to finish doing this. But yeah, we did that a lot of times. And look, truth be told, sometimes it works, and sometimes you get a lot better stuff out of it because you're almost challenged to be more creative because you're in a crunch for time. And sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it failed miserably, and you go like, yeah, but that's not up to me. It's not my company. It was my show, but even my show was not my show. You know what I mean? So that's just the way you play the game, and either you play the game or you quit. And I took my ball and went to NXT.
How many? I mean, we hear stories about the 400 writers or whatever at any one time. How many writers did you have working under you?
So as a team, Team SmackDown was probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably six writers and probably a writer assistant. Now 3 of those writers, myself being one of them, and I was included myself in that, by the way. Myself, Steve Guerreri, and Johnny Russo, who now writes NXT. All traveled on the road. The other members of the team were home team members. So they would have to sit in on video calls during the production meetings, but then they could sit for the rest of the day on Monday and Tuesday and talk about next week's show. And so by the time we got back, hopefully they would have some segments, at least to present, and we could flesh them out. Or sometimes we would have them write out 11 segments, and then we just go and pick, like, oh, that's an awesome one right here. You know what I mean? And what stories are we trying to tell, and whose idea was the best to tell it? Like it was a collaboration, man. And look, I know people always talk negatively about that. Without that writing team, dude, the cookie crumbles. And I can assure you that's the truth. I've seen it from the neck up. I've seen it. That writing team does everything. And I can't give them enough credit, because they do it under extreme pressure, and they do it gracefully. And you do your job. You do what your boss tells you to do. I don't care if you work for Vince McMahon or Jeff Bezos. If he says we're going to do this now, that's what we do now. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why people get so upset about it. He's messing with my wrestling. No, it's his wrestling.